Hello, my name is Eugina Liberty and I'm an international pleasure and intimacy coach. I typically help single entrepreneurial men and women who are unfulfilled in their personal life, and I help them to create juicy and passionate relationships that rock their world. And you are here because you have requested a guide on how you can create and keep loving relationship. So I'm super excited to have you here and share what I know with you. And just to say that I have been working as a coach for the past 5 years. And I have worked with men and women from all over the world with all kinds of backgrounds. Like I'm talking about religious backgrounds, I'm talking about family backgrounds and locations like Africa, America, India, Europe, like UK, you name it. And I have discovered that majority of people have got the same problems, men and women. Of course, for men and women, conditioning about relationships and their role in relationships are completely different, yet the foundation, what is causing unfulfillment in the relationships, majority is the same. So in this guide, I'm gonna share with you as much as I can about what have helped myself and my clients from around the world to change their relationships, to create the juicy, passionate, and nourishing relationships. And I will tell you, some of my clients have been able to manifest their love and relationship after like one session with me. And I'm not joking, and people have been engaged, people are getting married, having babies after completely feeling lost and like hitting a rock bottom, really. So I will tell you, I'm super excited to be here today and to share this information with you. But before I start, I want to share a little bit about myself so that you know why you even here, why you listening to me, why you should take seriously what I'm saying. And I will tell you that as I said, my name is Eugina Liberty, and I was born in Latvia in a small town, right? And I was born in a family of parents alcoholics, where domestic violence and emotional and physical abuse was everyday reality. So I can tell you right now that I didn't come from like any kind of family that have been very like, oh, this is the beautiful family, people have healthy relationships. In fact, my example of relationships have been very fucked up, in many kind of ways. So I been bullied at school very often. My body started developing very early, and I've been very sexual from very young age, right? It's like wearing short skirts, the boys always were giving me a lot of attention. Well, I was very developed, and also because I didn't have a good environment at home, I tried not to spend much time at home, so I always was out. I always was, with my friends, and I started gaining the reputation of a girl who like sleeps around. And I very often I was getting a lot of grief from other girls, other guys, at school. It was like a very tough time for me, and I don't know if you can relate to me, if you have been like going through anything like that in your life. You know that it's like quite isolating. For me, I was feeling quite isolated, that I couldn't trust people, I couldn't trust women, I couldn't trust guys. It's like, because all the time from anywhere in my life that there was a possible attack. If I would trust someone, if I would trust my friend, and then I would see that that friend would like betray me and like would turn against me, that would break my heart. So what I started doing, I started learning how not to feel, how to separate myself, how to keep myself to myself, because it was safer for me. But I will tell you that I became so good at that. I became so good at, keeping myself to myself and stop feeling, that when my father passed away, like 6 years ago, he passed away now, I didn't feel anything. I did such a good job at, numbing myself out, that I even couldn't feel when my father passed away. And this have caused me, in fact, to like look at myself, and that was the alarm bell that I was waiting for. It's like something is wrong here. Like people at work, I was working in a corporate environment before. I used to be a striptease dancer since I was 18 years old. I used to travel the world and like really be sexy, and like I had a very unhealthy lifestyle, for many decades. Well, not many decades. I'm 35, so not that many, but until 30 I did have very unhealthy lifestyle, because I was always trying to run away from my feelings and always try to find love and validation from somebody else, right? But then I just realized that it's impossible to do. Nobody can give to me what I'm seeking, because it's all hidden inside of me, because I was avoiding my own feelings and the way I was feeling. And and things have always been working out in a way that I've been disappointed, and I have been heartbroken. So when my father died, I couldn't feel anything. I just like did a very good job, protecting myself. And then a month later, I broke down in complete hysteria, where I couldn't get off the floor. I was crying hysterically, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, and I had to numb myself out with wine, so that I couldn't, like, I could just fall asleep and not feel anything, because the pain was overwhelming. The thing is, that has been a beginning of my self-development journey, my healing journey, and it allowed me to look at myself and what was holding me back in life. Because all I ever wanted was love and affection, yet I could never reach that. I could never create relationships where I felt happy and secure. I always was creating a relationship when I had to sacrifice, where I had to be a fraction of myself, where it was unsafe for me to say what I really mean, where I couldn't wear what I really wanted, and where I just had to like tiptoe around my partner and please them all the time. And that goes like bedroom as well as work-wise and relationship-wise. I felt like I had no choice. And working on my relationships, like with my partners at the time, because what I have realized, that all of my relationships look somehow the same. And this is exactly what brings me here right now, to share with you the tools, the skills, how you can create a deep, passionate, healthy, loving relationship and keep them. And I hope you're excited for that, because you know what? If you're not going to pay attention to this right now, then you know what? No one can do this for you, because your relationship, your happiness is your responsibility. And you know what? It all starts within. And when we are looking for relationship, with this guy, with this girl, the main relationship with the one that we are looking for is yourself. Because the only one person that you ever gonna wake up every single day of every single morning is yourself, is the reflection that you're gonna see in the mirror, and is the reflection that you have to feel great about seeing, not like looking at yourself in the mirror is like, oh my god, another piece of shit, it's like standing there and looking at me, and like if you're feeling like that about yourself, how do you imagine like someone else can love you, right? So this is very difficult for us to receive love when we feel like unworthy and undeserving of love from other people, if we don't feel that for ourselves. So hey, I hope you're ready for this number one tip in this guide on how you can create and keep loving relationship, right? And what has helped me and like clients from all over the world. And I mean, I have worked with hundreds of people so far. The people who have been like from all kinds of different walks of life, in different careers. I worked with doctors, I worked with healers, I worked with singers, with celebrities, and all of them have got exactly the same problems. It's like we all want to be loved, and we all want to feel important, especially to the people that we really love and cherish and admire and desire, right? So okay, without further ado, I'm gonna share with you three things, three tips, three points that actually gonna help you to move forward in your love life. And number one thing is the story. What is the story that you're telling yourself? Like what has been your story in your relationships up until now, right? And by story, I mean like my story, for example, have been throughout most of my life up until 32 years old, that all men want to hurt me, and our story begins from childhood, when we observe our parents or carers and how do they, treat each other. So as I mentioned earlier, I grew up in a family of parents alcoholics. So the story that I've seen, the example of relationships that I have seen was that, people, like when they love, they hurt each other, they scream at each other, they fight each other, they fight me, so it's like, so I mean, that didn't make sense, to me as a child. So when I started growing up, I started recreating those relationships in my life. So I was attracting men, guys, who have been abusing me the same way my dad was abusing my dad. And very, like, in fact, I got married to a man who was a spit image of my father. He even laughed the same way, right? So it's like the story that I was telling myself was, that men want to like hurt me all the time, that I'm not safe around, men. So that and I've been collecting the evidence of that over and over and over again in each and every relationship. My relationship somehow looked absolutely the same. And when I work with my clients, for example, they have got the same trajectory, that it's like that examples of their relationship that their parents modeled to them are somewhat the same, in their life and how they've been treated. So the first thing for you to do is to actually acknowledge what have been your reality, what have been your story with relationships, what has been true to you. It's like that men were, treating you unkindly, that you've been through abuse, that, or like women, it's like, because this guide is for men and women, that your partners have been, dismissing you, not validating you, treating you like shit, or like, that you've been putting them on pedestal and they have not been, like feelings have not been reciprocal, or all the time that when you like somebody, they like don't like you back, or you feel like you are not important, and like, what has been truth for you up until this moment? Because this is the moment of truth, and this is the moment for you to become true to yourself and open and honest with yourself about where you are in your relationships, So the next thing, and I would really recommend for you to write this down, to write it all up, because this is something that is going to change your life. Because right now, if you have requested this, guide on how to create loving relationship and keep it, it means that you're ready to do the work. So do the damn thing, you know. Don't watch this video and just like, you know, dismiss everything I say and it's like, oh yeah, another girl talking about some, you know, nonsense. No, if you have requested this, if you're watching this, if you watched this up until now, do the work, pick up the pen. You know, this is your superpower right now, right here. And I promise you, things will start moving forward one by one, right? So number two, what do you believe in your relationships? You know, like what do you believe about men, about women, you know, about like people that you're attracted to? And I will tell you that majority of people have got a very unhealthy beliefs about, you know, relationships and about other people. You know, like my massive fear about relationships was that I'm gonna lose my freedom. You know, my beliefs about men, like I said earlier, was that I the men want to hurt me, right? It's like other believe that I was unworthy of love and that I was not important, that, you know, sometimes I used to have feelings when I would walk in a room full of people, you know, and I felt like, oh, why would this guy, why would he look at myself if there are like so many more other more beautiful girls, more girls who are more of this or more of that, and like stuff like that, you know. So I always felt that I was less than. But for other people, I always felt like I was too much, like, or I had the feeling like not enough and too much at the same time, you know. So it's been like very interesting. And also, you know, for the people I was working with, and I will tell you that I have so many success stories that it actually blows my mind, you know. So I will tell you a story of my client, you know, like let's call her Miss X, right? And she came to me, we started working last year together, and what happened was she came, and when we actually discovered her story, because what was happening, she was overcoming her 7-year relationship, that her partner of 7 years like wasn't like fully committed to her. He was like there but not kind of there, you know. He was like always trying to put her down. Every time when they would go out, he would like and she would like have some attention from the man, you know, or something like that. He would be like, oh, you like trying to do this, stop flirting with people, when actually, you know, she does nothing wrong, but she was like always made feel that she was doing something wrong, you know. And she was kind of taking it, you know, and it's like, oh my god, you know, didn't know what to do. She knew that something was wrong there, but didn't know what. And like finally they separated after 7 years, and then he was like going here and there, you know. It's like, and then had another relationship but messaging her at the same time, wouldn't let her go, and she was like suffering. She was like, I don't know what to do, you know. I still have, you know, feelings for this man, and I'm just like not knowing how to move forward. And this is when she called me, right? And so what happened was like after the first session we actually looked at her belief system, you know, and we looked where everything started. And where everything started was a childhood, right? The childhood, that there was, you know, situation when she was a very little girl, like very little, and there was a situation with her father, right? And her father said something to her. It was like a 3-minute interaction, but it made such a massive impact on her subconscious mind that it's like that she decided for herself that, you know, that she's not worthy of like to be listened to, or, you know, that all her life she kept on attracting men who have been treating her the same way like her father treated her in that moment when she was 3-4 years old, right? And she kept on attracting those kind of men who was like reminder of like, this is who you are and this is what you're worthy of. So imagine this, when we worked through that, when we discovered the core problem of this situation, you know, and what was causing her to attract all this kind of people, we've been able to reinstall a new belief system, like more empowering belief system into her subconscious mind, right? And what happened next was absolutely mind-blowing, that she have you know, wrote down the man she would love to be with, and 6 days later she actually met that kind of man, you know, and that man is now her fiance, you know, and they are creating the most beautiful and loving relationship that have never ever would have been possible without her realizing that actually, you know, the stories that she's been telling herself subconsciously was not even true, and without upgrading that belief system about what she's worthy of, that wasn't like it was just a mind-blowing, and it was such a beautiful example of what is possible, right? So I just want to tell you that this is possible for you too, and this is just one example of that, but there are so many countless examples, you know. I don't gonna like go into like all of the testimonials right now, because you know what, it will take like hours and hours and hours. However, I want to say, you know, that number 3 thing that is going to change your life, your dating life, is creating a new story. Well, once you worked through your old story and once you adjusted your belief system, you can absolutely create a new story that is a fresh beginning, that is a fresh slate, you know, where you know how you desire to be treated, where you know how do you want to feel in a relationship, you know where you want to know what is available to you and how you can actually receive that. Because like, let's be honest, if you feel like every single person that comes your way is somewhat going to attack you or do something to you, and you cannot trust, like another thing is like, oh, I cannot trust men or women, you know, it's like they all are the same. And imagine it's like you're welcoming, you know, somebody in your life, you're going on a date, you're meeting that person, and you just like always suspicious and just waiting for them to fuck up. What kind of energy does that bring into your, you know, situation, into your love life? You know, would you like to be around somebody who's like always just waiting for you to fuck up? It's like where, because it goes further than words. Energy, you know, goes further than words. You can say whatever you want, but if have you ever felt like something is off but you can't put your finger on it? And then, you know, it ends up being as, you know, something is really wrong here, right, with the person. So, you know, trusting this intuition for yourself is really, really important, right? And creating your new story where you feel empowered, where you feel that you can and absolutely worthy and deserving of loving, beautiful romantic relationship that rocks your world, or kinky relationship, because I work with lots of kinky people who have got like a different kinks and feel like, you know, that they're freaks and nobody ever gonna want to be with them. But it's absolutely not true, because if you have a certain set of needs, wants and desires, that there is definitely someone out there to match that for you. You know, you're not on your own. And very often we feel like we are on our own in life. You know, you're not. You know, like I said, that at school I was bullied. I felt like I didn't belong. So all my life I went like kind of, you know, being around people but feeling on my own, feeling lonely, feeling like nobody understands me. I don't know if you anything like me, that you will know how that feels, you know, and you will know that there was a real fear, you know, it's like, or is for you maybe still now, fear like of dying alone and not being like, never meeting love of your life. You know how shitty is to have that fear. I remember I worked with someone who literally got on a call with me and said, Eugina, I have a fear I gonna die alone. I'm gonna die alone. I have so much love to give, and I have a fear I'm gonna die alone. I really want to create a family. I really want to meet a woman of my dreams, but I feel like I can't even talk to women because they think that I am like, a freak and something's wrong with me, And what happened was, it's like that person have been really at the rock bottom. And you know what? It took us 9 months to work through that, shit that he was going through. And in 7 months of us working together, he met a woman of his dreams. We worked for 2 more months to like set him solid in the relationship before he could go off. And now every year he checks in with me. They bought a house together, they getting married, they're loving each other, they're in a loving, committed relationship that rocks their world, and if it's possible for him, it's possible for you too. So you know what, it's like right now, this is your choice. How long are you prepared to wait for something to happen naturally? Because we never are told or taught or showed how to do relationship, how to handle our feelings, how to handle communication. We just like expect to know that. And sex, even the bigger thing is like we expected to know how to do sex when most of us have no freaking clue about that. So how do you communicate? How do you express yourself? How do you manage your emotions, especially when it like you get triggered, when you get angry, when you get anxious? How do you handle yourself? And because all of us want to look good and avoid looking bad, this is where a lot of us struggle and decide it's easier to be on my own. I can't be with anybody else. It's like, and then like, because we look on life through our individual filter, we just like accept reality for what we think it is, not what it actually is. So guys, I really want to say that your happiness is your responsibility, and it's absolutely possible for you to create the reality for yourself where the juicy and passionate relationships are rocking your world right now. You just have to put attention on it. If you would love to know more about how you can create that, how you can, work on yourself, change the story, change your beliefs about the relationships, about men and women, I would strongly love to invite you to connect with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's have, a connection where you can share with me what are you going through, so I can tell you what steps to take to change that. Right? I have been doing this for 5 years, and I have so many success stories that I would love your situation to be another success story. But meanwhile, hey, listen, write down one takeaway that you got from this video. What is one major takeaway that you got from this video, so that and write down what next steps you need to take to make a difference in your love life right now. Because let's be honest, none of us are getting any younger. None of us are getting any younger. If anything, all of us are getting much older, right? And as the time goes by, it's another day, it's another week, it's another month where you feel lonely or undeserving or sad or frustrated with your relationship status. And if that's the case, what are you waiting for? The time to change this is right now. So hey, pick up the phone, book a call with me. Let's talk about this. Because you know what? If not now, then when? If it's not you who's gonna be happy in your love life, then who? You are worthy and deserving of all the love in the world, and it's up to you to make it your reality. You just have to, make a move for that and claim it. And hey, if you're really ready, I can help you to do exactly that. So listen, this was my absolute pleasure to share with you these 3 simple things, and let's recap those, right? So that's the past story where all of your relationships come from. And yes, so I would really recommend looking into that. And then, what are your beliefs about relationships? What are your beliefs about men and women? How do you feel? And the other one is creating a new story. And listen, this all is available to you. You just have to do the damn thing, do the damn work to make sure it's your reality. So don't be shy. If you would love to know more or connect with me personally, you can do that on www.theorgasmicqueen.com, or you can send me the email directly, euginaoliberty.com. Eugina at euginaoliberty.com, or connect with me on Facebook, Eugina O Liberty, or Instagram, Eugina O Liberty. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Lots of love. Bye.